Good afternoon, early evening, and welcome back to Bald Feather Bets, guys. Apologies on the delay in this for college football recap, and mainly, like I said, what we're doing now between now and the end of the year is talking about the playoff picture. But yesterday was more spent about getting out that Thursday night football pick. Wanted to get that one out to you guys since it was probably one of our more favorited NFL plays of the year. So we're going to do a quick recap of Monday night, although there's not much to recap since we didn't do that in the Thursday night football video. And then we'll talk about the college football landscape. And then we have a lot of plays that we are adding already early, more NFL than college. So Monday night, we were on the Raiders +4 for 5 units, obviously 0-5. They showed up to the stadium to start, but they weren't cashing in on anything in the beginning. Even like the strip sack fumble recovery in the Cowboys territory. I don't know if it was all the way in the red zone yet or not. Only yielded a field goal, and that once the Cowboys got rolling offensively, there was nothing the Raiders were doing about it. One of the main points here, though, I think on the Cowboys side is I don't want to overreact because it's just the game against the Raiders. But you did see the difference that Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson made. And I don't think anyone would have thought that it would have been as drastic as you saw. But especially on the Cowboys up the middle, they were a lot more solid. And I think that duo of Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark and then Logan Wilson in the middle, and really just Logan Wilson's, I don't want to say leadership. I mean, it's a little bit leadership, but more communication on the field is, I think, what you were seeing. It added an element to the Cowboys that makes them formidable, be the word that I would use. It makes them formidable moving forward. It makes them not a team that is just a doormat defensively, that I think you're going to be able to guarantee, you're just going to go in and run they may run the score up on you, but you're going to run the score up on them too. It's just going to be a shootout. Those are 2 key additions. And then you saw how much better Deron Bland played, right? And he's a key for them because he's their best corner. And when he's locking down one side of the field for you, it's really freeing up a lot of the things that they want to do defensively and try and become maybe just a middle-of-the-road defensive team rather than a bottom-tier defensive team. So good on the Cowboys, 0-5 for us. I think that's 574 and 409 on the year. Yeah, that sounds right. So doing really well still as we head into week 13 of college football and week 12 of NFL. Okay, so college football playoff. And previous week, again, we're not really even talking about the previous week. We're talking about a reaction to the rankings. And then do we see anything in the futures market for you guys to potentially pounce on? So a couple of things that the college football playoff told you right away. They don't value the ACC still. I actually think they valued it a little too much with Miami at 13. I don't agree with that. I don't agree that they should be ahead of. I would say they should be below Tennessee. They should be below both the 3-loss SEC teams, but that's. I'm open for debate on that. I definitely don't think they should be ahead of USC. I don't think they should be ahead of Vandy. You can make the argument with them in Georgia Tech due to Georgia Tech's strength of schedule. They're both in the same conference. Miami with the win over Notre Dame. There's some. It's like the Miami Notre Dame conundrum is so crazy because the higher Notre Dame goes, which yes, as they explained yesterday, it keeps them out of the tier of being able to compare a head-to-head with Miami. But the higher Notre Dame goes, it makes the win for Miami look better. So Miami probably needs some help to get in this thing, but they don't necessarily want Notre Dame to lose, which is, I think, Notre Dame losing opens up one spot, but I don't know if Miami would get that one spot. So, and Notre Dame's not going to lose anyway. So it's an interesting dynamic that they have. But anyway, they told you that the ACC for the most part irrelevant in this thing. Alabama falling all the way down below Notre Dame shows you how much they value what Notre Dame has done with this latter part of their schedule, and how much they value the fact that Notre Dame's only loss is against one of their only 2 losses against an undefeated Texas A&M team. The Big 12 has 3 teams in the top 12. That doesn't mean they have 3 teams in right now, because only the top 10 ranked would make it, because both the ACC and Group of 5 champion would be currently ranked outside of that. But that means the next 2 in right now are BYU and Utah. BYU and Texas are the 2 that deviate the most from strength of record, which oftentimes at the end of the year very much mirrors who the committee lets in the playoff. So Texas, I think, is 13th in strength of record, and they were ranked 17th, and BYU is 6th in strength of record, and they were ranked 11th. So if BYU wins out and goes 11-1, there seems to be this notion that if they go to the Big 12 championship game and lose, they're going to get left out of the playoff. They're not going to get left out of the playoff if they go 11-1. They're just not. I don't care what happens in Dallas against Texas Tech. Like, they're not going to get left out. I don't think that's going to happen. You guys know my feeling on BYU. I don't think there's any chance that happens. Because I think they're going to lose this weekend. Well, any chance. There's a chance that it happens, because if they win this weekend, then they're probably going to win the last game against UCF, I think. But I think they're going to lose this weekend. So at Cincinnati, and then I think you'll see them drop. I think you'll see them drop pretty substantially out, and then there will not be a BYU discussion anymore. I don't understand how Utah is so high. At 12. You look at who their losses are against. You look at who they've beat. I get that from a power rating standpoint, they're actually a pretty good team. But from a resume standpoint, they don't really have it. They don't really have it at all. From a power rating standpoint, there's a lot of people who would tell you they're still ahead of Texas Tech. I understand both sides of that from a power rating standpoint. Depends a lot on how much value you put on final scores. Because if you put quite a bit of value on final scores, then Texas Tech shoots up anyone's power ranking, because they've been blowing teams out, but they haven't really played that difficult of a schedule. I just don't understand how they're so high. So where there's value here, though, in terms of a futures, looking at teams 1 through 10, so Ohio State through Alabama, you're not getting any value in betting one of those teams to make the playoff right now. You can get value in betting one of those teams to miss the playoff, without a doubt. But if you're looking it's more fun to bet on a team to make the playoff than it is to miss, unless you hate said team, but whatever. If you're looking for value, you want to go about 11 through 19. You got Virginia down at 19, and they could win the ACC. You're going to have, essentially, then your odds are split into 2 different ways. One is, if this team wins out, they're making the playoff. So they control their own destiny, right? Like, this team, if they win out from this point, they will get in. Then you have team wins out, can make a statement, does not control own destiny, and you're going to get higher odds on that. So, for example, BYU, I think you can get at plus 165. If BYU beats Cincinnati this weekend and then wins their last game, and they finish the season 11-1, it doesn't matter what happens in the Big 12 championship game, they're probably going to go to the playoff. On the other end of that spectrum, you have Texas, who has 3 losses, but will have an opportunity to play I think they play a FCS school, an undefeated team in Texas A&M the last game of the season. If they make a statement there, and then they have all these dominoes follow ahead of them, then they can get in. But I think they're plus 3,000. They're plus a significant number to get in because of all the dominoes that you need. You're essentially creating a parlay of all these things to happen, and you need every single one to hit, is what it is. You want to go in there and you want to find what you're comfortable with. I would say if you're a futures bettor, you lay one where it's team controls own destiny, that you're getting plus money and you're confident in that team. And then you lay one where team does not control own destiny. You're confident in that team, and there's a chance that the other stuff could happen. People who think this thing's going to go chalk to finish the end of the year have not been watching college football long enough. Alabama plays a game at night at Jordan-Hare Stadium in the Iron Bowl at Auburn. Go take a look at what Auburn's record is in night games against Alabama at Jordan-Hare. It's 4-1. Oklahoma plays Missouri this week and finishes with LSU. The odds would, if you parlayed OU winning both those games, you would get somewhere around even or plus money. The odds would tell you there's a very good chance they're going to lose one of those games. Oregon is playing USC this week and finishes at Washington in a rivalry game, and people have just kind of forgotten about Washington at all. BYU plays at Cincinnati this week. Vanderbilt still has the game against Tennessee in what is a state rivalry game. Texas A&M has to play at Texas to close the year. Georgia Tech still has Pittsburgh this weekend. Miami still has Pittsburgh on the schedule. Georgia and Georgia Tech play each other in the final week of the regular season. This isn't going to go chalk. So you need to look at where you're comfortable in terms of finding value from a future standpoint, and then lay, if you're with us and you're up 165 units, then lay 3 units on it, right? If you've, been only kind of partially taking the picks, like I know a lot of you guys do, and you're middling around, then lay a fractional unit on it. But there's value here. There's value here in if you're a cynical person and taking some of these people 1 through 10 to miss, and there's value in if you're a positive person and taking some of the 11 through 19, 18, 20. 20 would be wild. That's Tennessee. That'd be Tennessee getting in as the 3-loss team from the SEC. This is the other scenario you have. Let's say, for shits and gigs, Alabama loses to Auburn. OU loses one of their remaining games. Texas beats Texas A&M. Tennessee beats Vanderbilt. You got Texas, Alabama, OU, Tennessee, Vandy, all as 3-loss SEC teams. One of them is probably going to get in. It would be really hard after the way last year went down for the committee to leave out, not be able to put one of them in. Oh, I left out Mizzou in that situation, because if Mizzou is the team who beats OU, Mizzou's potentially in that too. You have 6. And you have a circle of Texas beat OU, OU beat Alabama. Alabama would have the most impressive win against Georgia, who finishes 11-1, probably ranked in, if A&M lost that, they're ranked in the top 3. Texas has the most impressive loss in a 7-point game at an undefeated Ohio State. That's assuming Michigan doesn't beat them. You're going to have a complete conundrum as to which one of those 3-loss teams is the most deserving from the SEC. There's value right now in Tennessee or Texas if you think that scenario is going to happen. Because if Tennessee beats Vandy, it won't be Vandy getting in over them if they lose on the last week of the year. If Alabama loses on the last week of the year to Auburn, that's not a good last statement to have if Texas's last statement was beating Texas A&M. I think they would have a difficult time leaving out Alabama, given how the strength of schedule Alabama played and how good they looked all year and all that stuff, and the fact that they were the 9-3 team that kind of got left out last year. But there's value on Tennessee, and there's value on Texas in that situation in terms of what your ticket that you're holding right now could eventually pay out if those things start to kind of fall that way. That's pretty much it. The other value thing here is which group of 5 team's going to get in. Right now they have Tulane. You don't get the added benefit of knowing how they have the other teams ranked because they only rank 1 through 25. But I wouldn't hate a James Madison ticket right now. James Madison has the easiest path to winning all the rest of their games, whereas Tulane's going to have a few shots here to get tripped up. There's going to be an American Championship game. With how the group of 5 has gone this season so far, I also think that was not going chalk. So take a look at that group. If you're also a futures bettor, take a look at that group of 5 unit. There's value there in taking someone who's not Tulane. All right, we're going to give you some picks, and then we're going to get out of here. So Thursday Night Football is already posted. It's already up. The official actual Thursday Night Football pick is up. I love it. The reason I got it out was just in case CJ Stroud was going to get ruled in. He didn't get ruled in, but as I told you in the video, that's the number that we have. And with all the Bills players who just got ruled out today, big fan of that one. That's why it's 10 units. So anyway, go check out that video. And then we are adding Missouri +8 against Oklahoma for 5 units. As I told you, this thing's not going chalk. It looks like Perbula's going to play, even limited. He's about a 73% completion percentage on the year. We like that. We like that a lot. So Mizzou +8 for 5 units. Pittsburgh against Georgia Tech +3 for 3 units. Just think the Georgia Tech wheel's starting to fall off a little bit. Georgia Tech very leaky on defense. This is where we think Pittsburgh's run defense is real, when it's against this competition. When it's going up against Notre Dame and Jordan Love and Jeremiah Price, it's not real. But when it's going up against a Georgia Tech team who's in that talent level as they are, the ability to stop the Georgia Tech run game, I think, is there for Pittsburgh. You also have to look at that Pittsburgh game against Notre Dame and wonder what happens if they don't just get murdered the way they do to start the game, you know? And I think they will bounce back. And then Cincinnati +3 against BYU, 5 units. We're not jumping on it. We faded the BYU train all year long. We're not jumping on it now. Although it would be funny if they get in the Big 12 championship game and we're on them, or they get in the playoff or something and we're on them. That would be a fun time. All right, NFL. We have a bunch of plays on Sunday. We're getting at you. Sometimes the lines they speak to you. You know. Bengals +8 for 5 units. Get that one now. I think Burrow will get ruled in. That'll go way down. Lions -10 for 3 units. We rode the Jameis train 1 week. It worked out well for us. I don't know who's going to play quarterback for the Giants. I don't know if I'm not fading the Lions in this spot. Again, awful loss, all those things. We're not fading the Lions in this spot. Not at home, not on turf, not after the way that Eagles game went. Not doing that. We've gotten very much the results too. It's been like every other week Lions cover or they lose outright, and now we're on a Lions cover week and it's against the Giants. Quite a bit of confidence in that one. Lions -10, 3 units. Seahawks -12.5, 3 units. Models, and my model tells you this is too many points at the Titans. I don't care. Seahawks are the best road team in the NFL. We're going to talk a little bit about it tomorrow. The Seahawks have shown you in 2 games now, Sam Darnold can have one of his games. I don't think he's going to have one here. It's the Titans defense. The Seahawks are so good that Sam Darnold can have a game like he did last year to end the season against the Lions, or a game like he did against the Rams in the playoffs. And the Seahawks won one of those games against the Texans where they lost their turnover margin by 4. And then they lost the turnover margin against the Rams, at the Rams, who are considered one of the best teams in the NFL. And they lost the turnover margin by 4 or 5. I can't remember what it was. and they lost the game by 2 points. That is how good the Seahawks team is. Seahawks minus 12.5 for 3 units. Jets plus 14.5 for 3 units. We like Tyrod Taylor starting. It's too many points. I know I just said that the Titans won us too many points, but I don't care. This one I care. This is a different matchup. Jets plus 14.5 for 3 units, and they're still in Aaron Glenn's first year where they're really trying to show something, and they kind of have been. Cardinals plus 3.5 for 3 units. They have let us down. Oh my gosh, have they let us down the past 2 weeks? 5 units both weeks. Both weeks got absolutely blown out. But we are in a consistent pattern with the Jags here. We told you Jags at home against the Chargers was one of our favorite plays. The week before, we told you Jags on the road, not good. Texans come back and beat them. Now we got Jags on the road again against a wounded Arizona Cardinals team. Cardinals plus 3.5 at home for 3 units. We love it. Saints minus 1 for 3 units. I think the Saints have found a little something with Tyler Shough. I don't trust the Falcons with Kirk Cousins at QB. I don't think he's got it anymore. And that Falcons offense had things unlocked with Penix at quarterback due to his arm strength and how much he could push the ball down the field. I don't trust the Falcons on the road against the Saints with Penix. And how crazy is this? The Falcons are a 3-win team, and their first-round pick is going to the Rams. That Rams organization is amazing. Cowboys plus 4 for 5 units against the Eagles. This is one of the most heated rivalries in the NFL. We are almost always on the dog in this rivalry. Recently, it's been the Cowboys. Cowboys play the Eagles well. Dak at home. Again, we talked about what we saw from the Cowboys defense with Quinn Williams and Logan Wilson. Expect a spirited game on both sides. Like the Cowboys' ability here to get out with a win. Rams minus 6 for 5 units on Sunday Night Football. Bucks are 6-4, and it's a very different. The Lions are 6-4. The Bucks are 6-4. I want you to look at those two teams and tell me you feel the same about the Bucks as you do the Lions. They have been injured. They continue to be injured. They are not the same unit that they were to start the season. And again, miraculous comebacks, miraculous wins, those are great for your record. Those are things you note in terms of power rankings moving forward. They haven't been able to do it as of recent. Not only did they not get the fourth quarter comeback against the Bucks, they got a turnover against the Bills. They got a turnover, and then the Bills ended up covering on them. This Rams team is a wagon. This Rams team is potentially one of the best in the NFL. This Rams team is on a short list to win the Super Bowl. It's Sunday Night Football. It's at home. It's McVay. We like the Rams here minus 6 for 5 units. That's it. That's everything we're giving you for today. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so you know when we post, like when we did yesterday for Thursday Night Football, and just interact with the comment. Like, share, comment, interact with the content. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on college football landscape. Let me know what your thoughts are on the futures. Let me know if you think the committee got anything right or wrong. I thought they were decently accurate. I thought they were decently accurate. Yeah. The two teams I would also kind of say prove it to me on in terms of not matching strength of record are BYU and Texas. I agree with both. I mean, you guys know I agree with BYU. We haven't really talked about Texas as much from a ranking standpoint, but I mean, yeah, their strength of record is probably higher than 17, but they have an opportunity to prove it with the final game against A&M as long as they can get a win against Houston. And then you take them into account for there. But I thought the top 10 was pretty spot on. I know some people have issue with Notre Dame, Miami. I don't. I don't think the two teams are in the same class with each other. Let me know what your thoughts are. Anyway, get out of here. Have a great night. Thank you guys. Stay safe out there.